My name is Nicole Wakabayashi.
Miguel Campinho.
Mijang Lee.
Enriqueta Samarriba.
Daniel Cunhas.
Lisa Yui.
Matthew Cognier.
Miao Huang.
Stephen Hoven Lee.
Andrew Sill.
Anna Wittgeschreden.
Matti Hirvonen.
Pedro Emanuel Pereira.
Quentin Oliveira.
Ilham Fanous.
Stephanie Ting Chong.
Paulo Oliveira.
Trishadon Williams.
Michelle Powell.
And this is
Porto.
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 Porto Piano Fest. Porto Piano Fest.
Porto Piano Fest.
Olá a todos, boa noite e bem-vindos ao Porto Piano Fest. Hi everyone, thank you for joining us and welcome to Porto Piano Fest. It's really a pleasure to be here. This is a bonus day. We had our final concert yesterday, our official closing concert yesterday at the World of Wine, the exquisite World of Wine, a fantastic cello concert by Fernando Costa. But we had this concert scheduled for last Thursday. I'm now in New York, where we had a hurricane last week, and that just destroyed a big portion of electricity infrastructure in Long Island, where our guest lives. So we had to postpone. We couldn't miss the opportunity to have Geoffrey Burleson joining us, so we had to postpone this concert for today. Here we are. We're very happy, very excited to have him here today with us. Geoffrey Burleson is a very well-known pianist, and it's really a pleasure to welcome him. Very versatile. He's now recording the Saint-Saëns complete works for Naxos. He plays contemporary music, improvises, plays jazz. He's also an esteemed professor at Hunter College and Princeton University, and it really is a pleasure to have him with us. So without further ado, I'm gonna invite Geoffrey Burleson to join us, and I hope you enjoy the concert. Thank you.
Good evening. I am Geoffrey Burleson, and it is a thrill for me to be the closing act of Porto Piano Fest 2020. As Nuno was explaining, this was actually not intentional. I was not supposed to be the grand finale, but Mother Nature intervened with Tropical Storm Isaias, and we lost power for a couple of days, and not only that, but had 3 huge downed trees less than a block from us, crushing cars and bringing utility posts down. Fortunately, we are fine, but with the lack of power, we were not able to broadcast here at the originally scheduled date, so we postponed. Fortunately, we have power now. So it is indeed a thrill for me to be here. I do have a very diverse program for you today. I am opening with Beethoven's Opus 77 Fantasia. So one reason I'm playing this piece this year is I wanted to do something for Beethoven's 250th birthday, but I didn't want to just play the war horses. I wanted to look for unjustly underperformed pieces, and this is one of those pieces. The Opus 77 Fantasy. It's the only solo piano piece that he called a fantasy. And we think it emanates from the November 1808 Music Academy concert, this very famous concert, massive marathon of a show that Beethoven put on as kind of a self-promotional vehicle. That concert had the premieres of the 5th and 6th Symphony, the 4th Piano Concerto, and the Choral Fantasy, among other things. The Choral Fantasy, this odd piece, also begins with a piano improvisation. And we think that this piece, we know that Beethoven also improvised solo during this concert, and we think this piece is sort of a kind of transcription or an outgrowth of that improvisation. It really does sound like an improvisation. The opening sections include massive juxtapositions of textures and moods and wild key changes. It really sounds like an improvisation. And then all of a sudden he gets to a theme and variation section. and so it sounds very structured. But we also should remember that theme and variation form was a very favorite form for pianists to improvise in during this time. So this sort of fits the improvisation idiom. So here is Beethoven's Opus 77 Fantasia. Oh, you know, I forgot to do something. That's what happens when you have to do a bit of self-production. I am switching from the speaking microphone to the piano microphones. So there you have it, Beethoven's Opus 77, Fantasy or Fantasia. Another thing I meant to mention about it is it's billed in G minor, even in the first edition, but it ends in B major. So it's another odd thing, wonderfully odd thing about this quirky, but I think fascinating and very effective piece of music. So now I'm going to offer you three pieces by Camille Saint-Saëns. As Nuno mentioned, I've been recording all of Saint-Saëns' piano music for Naxos Grand Piano. I have 5 volumes out so far and working on a 6th now. That will be the final one. Saint-Saëns was, among other things, sorry, I need to switch mics again. Yes, I know. Okay, sorry about that. Getting used to it. It takes about 5 or 6 different switches in order to move the mics back and forth, and I only just started rehearsing with that in dress rehearsal a little while ago. So I'm trying to get into the rhythm of this. But again, that was Beethoven's Opus 77 Fantasia. I am about to play now 3 pieces by Camille Saint-Saëns. I have been recording all of Saint-Saëns' piano music for Naxos Grand Piano. 5 volumes so far have been released. There's a 6th volume, and that will be it, but it shows you how prolific Saint-Saëns was as a composer. And what I wanted to try to display today was the diversity of different genres that he wrote in. So I have 3 pieces actually representing 4 different genres here. The first is a Mazurka in B minor. So Saint-Saëns was very influenced by Chopin, like most French composers. The Mazurka, he wrote mazurkas, he wrote concert waltzes, and so forth. And this is a very, very imaginative piece in this genre. Then I'm going to play you a Prelude and Fugue in E-flat minor that is simultaneously an Étude. Saint-Saëns wrote 18 piano Études in different periods of his life. The last 6 of these 18 are all for the left hand alone, including a fugue, a 3-voice fugue just for the left hand, which is a pretty scary piece. This piece is Opus 111, number 3. This is from the middle set of Études that he wrote, this Prelude and Fugue. And they're very difficult changing chords in the left hand in the Prelude. It's a very darkly majestic Prelude and an incredible fugue that goes through periods of great intensity and gentleness as well, but ends with the sort of dark majesty of the Prelude. Finally, I'm finishing with a different genre, the opera fantasy transcription genre that we know that Liszt wrote a lot in. So I'm finishing with a fantasy on Massenet's Thaïs, which was a very popular opera at the time. This goes through 2 sections. The first one is rather harrowing, and that is represents the character Athanael, who's a Cenobite monk who has converted a courtesan, the title character Thaïs, to Christianity, but he imagines he is also uncontrollably intoxicated by this courtesan, and he imagines her death, and then you hear a sudden cessation of this activity and some funeral march music briefly, and the famous funeral march rhythm, slow dotted rhythm, and then the famous, you all recognize this tune probably even if you don't know it, the famous meditation on Thaïs, which is an instrumental passage played by solo violin and orchestra in the opera. And there are many transcriptions of that meditation, the meditation, but I think that Saint-Saëns outdoes them all, and he produces a stunning sort of set of variations with that meditation. So the Mazurka, the Étude that's a Prelude and Fugue, and the meditation on Thaïs. And yes, I am going to change microphones again. Okay, back to speaking. I really hope you enjoyed that. Very diverse demonstration of some of Saint-Saëns' piano music that probably isn't so well known. Another funny thing about Saint-Saëns is he seems to be very famous for just a small number of pieces. One opera, Samson and Delilah, even though he wrote 7. One symphony, the Organ Symphony, the Third Symphony, Carnival of the Animals, and so forth. But he wrote so much great music, and it's been a great joy to work on all of it and record and perform all of it. It's really been a huge labor of love for me. So now we're moving on into a different part of the program altogether. The rest of my program is pretty much all inspired by Latin American music, Latin American dance music. And first a couple of sets by some living composers, young composers, and then finishing with a jazz arrangement / improvisation from me. So we're going to start with Laurie San-Martin. Laurie is a professor of composition at the University of California at Davis. And among her recent honors was a 2018 Andrew Embry Award in music from the Academy of Arts and Letters, and a 2016 Guggenheim Fellowship. So the next 2 works you will hear are 2 dance pieces that were written for separate occasions, and I'm going to read Laurie's notes about these pieces. So the first one is called Zambra, with a question mark, and as Laurie says, it features irregular and off-balance rhythms to lend it a kind of nervous quality, and features many pedal points and flamenco rhythms. In contrast to the very assertive piece that I will play following it, Zambra seems to be on a journey with a very mysterious destination. So the second piece of Laurie's that I will play is called Tangozilla, which is one of my favorite titles of all time. Yes, it's a tango, and it takes its inspiration from William Bolcom's tangos, particularly his Dead Moth tango, and Astor Piazzolla tangos in general, specifically the dark and playful character that Laurie is particularly drawn to in all of those works. So this is Zambra and Tangozilla by Laurie San-Martin. Okay, so now on to not dissimilar set of pieces genre-wise. These are 5 Latin pieces by Gregor Hübner. Gregor is a pianist, violinist, and composer, and performs with several ensembles, including El Violin Latino, the Sirius Quartet, Salsa Fuerte, and the Tango 5. And he is also a professor of composition at the University for Music and Theater in Munich. So these are 5 dances that are actually a little bit more obscure in origin, some of them, than the most popular types of tango and rumba and samba and so forth. So the first piece, let me actually dial it up here, is called Fugato y Yumba. So yes, there is a fugato in it. There's a fugue in it, a small little fugue, and it's overall a yumba. And now yumba is not to be confused with rumba. A yumba is a tango that was written by Osvaldo Pugliese in 1946, yumba. And the term yumba was chosen for Pugliese because of its sonic similarity to the sound of a bandoneon bellows going back and forth, the wheezing sound that it makes, as he said. And he also declared the unrelenting rhythm in his tango was inspired by the noises of metalworking. So this is kind of an industrial tango with a fugue in the center of it, if you will. It's very large and boisterous. The second piece is Tumbao, and Tumbao refers to the basic rhythms played by tumbadores and the bass in music of Afro-Cuban origin. The third movement is called the Guaijra mysteriosa. And a Guaijra is a slower piece. It's in the form of a musica campesina or countryside music, and very similar to the criolla. And this piece is indeed very, very mysterious and haunting. The fourth piece is called Bembé, which is a sacred style of Cuban drumming that has its origins with the Yoruba tribe in Africa. The fifth and final piece is called Guaguanco, which is a subgenre of Cuban rumba, and it is a very fitting finale to the set. Gregor is a fabulous improviser as well, and I am paying tribute to that. He very graciously said, "Oh yes, of course you can improvise in my music." So I will be improvising a chorus in the Bembé, that's the fourth piece, and improvising a coda cadenza in the final piece in the Guaguanco. Okay, well, thank you so much. I really hope you enjoyed all of that. I love playing Gregor's pieces. I think they're just stunning, and I feel the same way about Laurie's pieces. Just as Bach made concert pieces, so to speak, or serious musical work of sarabands and gigues and so forth. This is all just fantastic music, and its original dance forms, and in all of these forms, infinitely malleable, and I love it. And this kind of music was a great influence on me in my development as a pianist and musician as well. And to wit, I'm going to close with A Night in Tunisia by Dizzy Gillespie, my own arrangement, improvisation, whatever you want to call it. I don't think this piece needs any introduction, so I'll just get right to it and switch the mics again first. All right, so I'm sorry, looking down at the computer, not at the camera, but yeah. So lots of nice. Thank you so much for your beautiful comments here, which are showing up on the screen. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the program. I loved playing it. I will hang out a little bit more. Again, reading the comments. Just absolutely lovely. Thank you all so much for coming. And as I say, I'm going to, Nuno, thank you so much. Jay, Nicole, so great to hear all of this, see all of this. Really appreciate it. Thank you all again. Well, Potomac Soccer Association. So that's an audience member I did not expect, but enjoyed nonetheless. Jennifer, thank you so much for coming. Jen Roderer, Marina, greetings from Bulgaria. Thanks. Yes, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you to Nuno and Muriel. Thank you so much to the Porto Piano Fest. This is such a wonderful experience. Glad I could close it off for you. And again, I hope you enjoyed it. And I'm hoping very much, as we all are, that Porto Piano Fest will be in Oporto in 2021. So let's think good vibes and visualize that reality. So thank you so much again, and take care. Stay safe and healthy and sane, everyone.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Geoffrey Burleson, for your amazing program. We loved it. We loved the variety, the Beethoven to Dizzy Gillespie. That was fabulous. We know that some of the composers that you played were watching tonight. We're so happy that they could join us. Laurie St. Martin and Gregor Hübner. Beethoven and Saint-Saëns were not here, obviously. But I would like to thank them also for their music. One very special thank you to all our 75 artists that joined Porto Piano Fest 2020, the online edition. This was a huge enterprise for the festival. We had to do the work of months. We did it in a few weeks. So it was it was thanks to them, to these great artists that sent us the video recorded in a very short amount of time. My team that was able to work all that, to produce, to edit, to do that. Thank you to my vice director, Mariel Mays, and thank you to our executive producer, André Rodrigues. Thank you for your work. This festival would not have happened without you. Thank you to our 60 artists that recorded for us their exclusive recordings that showed their music, their personal choices. We are so thankful to have you, and we hope to have every single one of you at Porto Piano Fest in Porto in the future. And thank you to the artists that played the live concerts too. That was just great. We're so happy to finish yesterday in Porto in that beautiful setting. Yesterday was the official closing, but today is the final closing. We're so happy that Geoffrey Burleson's concert was possible to be had today because of the hurricane, but we couldn't let it just pass. One final thank you to our supporters and sponsors. Porto Piano Fest is a co-production with Câmara Municipal de Porto. Thank you to them for their support. Thank you to our sponsors at FLAD, Sazia, and Porto Domingo, amongst others. Thank you to all of you who donated this week, who made their contribution. You can still do it at Porto Piano Fest website. You should have a number going on the bottom of the screen. You can go to the website and contribute. Your contribution is really important for us to continue the festival into next year. We have a very exciting 2021 prepared. We're already in very advanced stages of preparation for that. Stay tuned soon, and I hope you can join us. Go to our website, see all the videos, see all the artists, enjoy your music, share that music, and thank you for this amazing week. Obrigado.